So our today's lecture starts with the concept of mathematical epidemiology. So to start with the definition of an epidemiology, it's just a study of the frequency, distribution, and determinant of a disease and other health conditions in public health. And the application of this study is to promote animal and human health, as well as prevention, to work with on the prevention, control, and management of human and animal diseases. So what's a disease? A disease is just an abnormal condition that negatively affects some or fully the structure or function of the given particular organism. And these diseases are divided into communicable and non-communicable diseases. And mostly we are interested on communicable diseases. And communicable, or it's said to be infectious or transmittable diseases, are diseases which are caused by microorganisms such as bacteria or virus or parasite or fungi that can spread directly or indirectly from one human to the other human, or animal to animal. In some cases from animal to human, which is called zoonotic disease. Some are transmitted through the bits of the other insects, which is called vector-borne disease, while others are caused by ingesting contaminated food or contaminated water. So this type of disease that can transmit from one person to another person, from one animal to another animal, is said to be communicable, or they're said to be infectious disease. Infectious disease in public health can be classified based on the means of transmission as direct transmitted diseases, refers to which is a process by which the infectious agents transmitted directly from the infected human or host to the susceptible host. This type of transmission occurs with the physical contact, direct to human or animal to animal contact between the infected and the susceptible hosts, without any involvement or any intermediary vector that connects the infected and the susceptible individuals. For instance, person-to-person, direct contact between individuals, such as touching, kissing, sexual contact, or contact with a body fluid. Animal to person, when infected animal transmit the disease to humans through the bite or scratches or other forms of direct contact. Yeah, so from animal to, just touching of that animal to a given susceptible individual. The other one is direct, which is respiratory infections, common cold like. So the direct infected human directly connects with the infected, the susceptible human, so that direct transmission. In COVID-19 is also, even though they are airborne aerosol droplets, and these aerosol droplets will pass through the susceptible one from the infected one, just through a direct way, which means there should be a direct contact between the infected and the susceptible individuals. The other one is sexually transmitted infections like HIV and syphilis. They are also direct transmitted diseases. Direct transmitted diseases with infection of through the infected body fluids during sexual intercourse or sharing of needles, or from other mother to child. The other one is blood-borne disease like hepatitis B and C are also direct transmitted diseases. And zoonotic diseases like rabies is also transmitted by through a bite or scratch of infected animal, typically dogs, bats, or wildlife, which are directly transmitted from the the infected ones. The other one, skin-to-skin contact disease, is like a ringworm disease, is also a direct transmitted disease. Person-to-person transmitted diseases are diseases that require direct or indirect. Maybe sorry for the repeating the concept related to the person-to-person is just direct transmitted disease. I think when I'm preparing the PowerPoint, I was mixing concepts, but I should improve this PowerPoint. I think there are some concepts related to these notes. I have repeated some of the lectures. So just to say, it's a person-to-person transmitted disease, a disease that require direct or indirect contact, and airborne transmitted diseases are diseases that transfer from one person to another by the inhalation of infected air. And the airborne transmitted diseases include like influenza, smallpox, measles, chickenpox, and tuberculosis. Similarly, COVID-19 and flu are airborne transmitted diseases, and foodborne and waterborne diseases are transmitted through the ingestion of contaminated food or water, like cholera. And vector-borne transmitted diseases are diseases which are transmitted to the humans from the infection or bite of an infected mosquito, which is a host like malaria, dengue, West Nile, the other diseases. Indirect contact transmitted disease occurs when the infectious agents are transmitted via the intermediate objects or vehicles rather than direct to animal or human to human. Like salmonellosis is spread through the contaminated food, feed, water, or equipment that has been in contact with the infected animal. And bird flu, it's transmitted by the infected equipment, clothing, or vehicles. And as a vector-borne transmitted disease occur when the pathogen is transmitted by a vector, usually those arthropods or insects, like mosquito, tick, and mollusks are all known vector-borne diseases. Like dengue, we can consider dengue. Leishmaniasis is also another vector-borne disease. Airborne diseases are diseases that are transmitted, the pathogens are transmitted via the aerosols or dust particles that can travel through the air. So like TB is a known bacterial infection, which spreads when the infected person sneezes or coughs, releasing bacteria that can transmit to the infected individuals. The other one, measles. Measles is also an airborne disease, which is a viral disease, and chickenpox and the COVID-19 are airborne disease. Facial oral transmission just refers to the process by which the pathogen disease-causing microorganisms like bacteria, virus, or parasite are transmitted from the feces or stool of an infected animal or human to susceptible animal or humans. When the pathogen is ingested, this typically happens through the contamination of food or water, such as cholera, which is a bacterial infection caused by Vibrio cholera, often spreads through the contamination of water. Salmonella, which also the infection of contaminated food, is transmitted from one person to another. Rotavirus or rotavirus, a viral infection that particularly infects the young children and commonly transmitted from the contaminated water or food. The other one is zoonotic disease or zoonotic transmission is a disease that transmit from the infected animal to the humans. These diseases are affect the human, wildlife like livestock and domestic animals also. These zoonotic diseases are we can divide direct contact transmitted zoonotic diseases and indirect contact transmitted zoonotic diseases. Direct contact, in a sense, contact from infected animal or to the human body flu to the humans, like we can say rabies and monkeypox are known examples of direct contact zoonotic disease. Indirect contact, just due to the contamination from the environment, either from the food or from the soil or from the water, that can transmit to the humans, like salmonella, bacterial infections that transmit from the contaminated food is an example. And related to this one, zoonotic disease, environmental transmission refers to the spread of which is contact with a contaminated environment, such as surface, water, or soil. Soil-borne diseases like tetanus, histoplasmosis, and leptospirosis are examples of the soil transmitted disease, and water-borne diseases like cholera and the other one is cryptosporidosis, or I think just like this, like that. These are the examples of waterborne diseases. The other one is neglected tropical diseases, diseases that transmit in different ways. And neglected means that they do not given attention. They have limited attention, but they are killing a lot of people. They are ignored by the WHO, the government, and the Global Health Organization, but they are still infecting the many developing and those which are living in the poor way. Mainly, they are transmitted more. We are not protecting ourselves due to the different reasons, due to the level of the cost that we are living, and due to the poorness, or due to ignorance of the disease. So they're said to be neglected tropical diseases. So they primarily affect people living in the poverty in tropical, subtropical regions of the world. And they are known malaria, HIV, tuberculosis, dengue, given examples of tropical disease. Trachoma, schistomiasis, and American trypanosomiasis. American trypanosomiasis, of course, which mostly affects the North and South Americas. And sometimes it's happened in the European regions. So these are the said to be neglected tropical diseases that have not given attention to the effect of the disease in the given community. In general, the transmission of disease can be occurred in two pathways. It may be horizontal or vertical. It may be a horizontal transmission, is the spread of infection stages. Okay. From the human to human, or from animal to animal. And vertical transmission is from mother to child. If the transmission is from mother to child, or in the pregnancy, either in the pregnancy or delivery style, that is said to be the vertical transmission. Most of the time, the pneumonia, HIV, hepatitis are transmitted from mother to child, and most of these are transmitted horizontally. Based on the infection status, we can divide the population into different subgroups, which is susceptible individuals. These are class of individuals which are healthy, but they are susceptible to the disease. They are susceptible to the disease. If they have a contact with the infected person, they will have a chance to get the disease. They are said to be susceptible individuals. And if one individual is contact with the infected person, the individual cannot be directly infectious or cannot transmit the disease to the other person. There is the period that the pathogen that is entered to the susceptible individual should stable itself to make to be seen as a symptom in the susceptible individual and then be infectious. So the stage or the period where an individual um, an individual becomes infectious, or the period where the pathogen establishes itself in an individual is said to be in an exposed period, or it's said to be exposed stage or exposed individuals. So if this exposure period has finished, if the pathogens exposure period are finished, so the individual will join the infectious or infected individuals, and the infected individuals are said to be infectious individuals. They transmit from one person to another, so that they're said to be infectious individuals. So, and these infectious individuals, sometimes they are called symptomatic individuals or subclinical individuals. And the other one, individuals which are infectious, but they are not showing symptoms, are said to be asymptomatic individuals. Asymptomatic individuals are infectious individuals. That means they transmit from one person to the other, but they do not show the symptom. These individuals are said to be asymptomatic individuals. So they contribute to the distribution in the given community, but they do not show the symptom, and they are hard to detect. And recovered individuals or immune individuals, this class of individuals are individuals who recovered from the disease, either due to natural recovery or due to the treatment that they obtained from the public health. They may contact the disease again, or so due to this recovery or this immunity, they will get a permanent immunity, or maybe the immunity may be temporary immunity. Maybe if they get contact with an infected person with the same disease, they may be infected. If they are infected, it's a temporary immunity, and if they are not infected, they get a permanent immunity. The other one is carrier individuals who harbors a specific infectious agent in their body and can transmit it to others, but who generally does not demonstrate the symptom at the time of transmission, such as tuberculosis, HIV, completely recover and continue to the carrier stage also. The carrier stage is just they act as a host to the disease. They act as a host to the disease, and they do not show the symptom. They may not show the symptom, but they are said to be carrier individuals, showing, which means that carrying the virus or the bacteria for a long period of time. They are said to be carriers, and they can transmit the disease. And the other one is vaccine individuals. These are individuals who received vaccine, either one or two more dose of vaccine, and this vaccine protects them from a specific infectious disease. Once they have vaccinated, an individual develops an immunity, and getting an immunity means that this immunity protects the disease, the individual from the given infectious disease. So they get an immunity to resist a given infectious disease when they are coming to attack them, or if they have get a chance to contact an infected individual, and if they have already get that the vaccine of that infection, so they may not based on the vaccine content or the vaccine efficacy, they may not be infected at all, or they may get a chance to be reinfected due to the low efficacy of the vaccine, the low efficacy of the vaccine. The other one is based on infectious disease at a population level. We can divide we can divide the disease in terms of an epidemic, outbreak, endemic, and pandemic. I think a disease first becomes an outbreak when a disease emerges or re-emerges again on a given specific area, on a limited area, on a limited geographical location, that is said to be an outbreak. That is said to be an outbreak. And epidemic is the occurrence in region of cases of or illness clearly in excess of abnormal condition. If it occurs from the abnormal expectancy, then we said that is epidemic. Refers to an increase often sudden of the number of cases of a disease above what is normally expecting in a given population. That's said to be epidemic. Endemic is just constant presence of a disease. If the disease, if we are living with the disease, if the disease is living with us with a constant presence in a given ratio or in a given reproduction number, which is greater than 1, the infectious agent is said to, and within the given geographical area, then that disease is said to be epidemic. Is said to be endemic. Sorry, that disease is said to be endemic, like flu, which is common cold. Common cold is just an endemic disease that lives with us, and we can take malaria is an endemic in Ethiopia, and measles is an endemic in Ethiopia because their reproduction number is greater than 1, which is it's an endemic in Ethiopia. And pandemic is if the disease occurrence crosses international boundaries, then that's said to be, and it affects large population, then it's said to be pandemic. For instance, you know about the case of COVID-19. It was an outbreak from China, one state, then it becomes epidemic, then it becomes endemic. It becomes a pandemic, and now it's just in the endemic state. It's an endemic state. We don't know whether it's the immunity that we have resisting the COVID-19. Some of the common colds which are occurring nowadays they look like COVID-19, but we are resisting like a common cold. It may be, we do not investigate, but it may be COVID-19. So